you. It's after that work break, or it's after that gym break, or if you need to have something while you're on the go. Delamere, in all its fantastic flavors, has something for you. Real fruit with the strawberry and the wild berry, real vanilla pods or your choco chips with actual real chocolate. That's pear caramel or lemon biscuit or apricots, orange and honey. It's the stuff that makes your moments with Delamere, and it brings us into 6 minutes after 9 o'clock on the final hour of Kenya's biggest conversation this morning. And as we get into other conversations, it's great to have started off with your cup of Delamere great yogurt. Okay, and as we're getting into conversations this hour, also great to remember that CT has been telling us how we can make sure you get a mortgage at a great rate, and it will stick at that rate for a long time. No? Yes?
Well, yes. For something to be true, it must be proven to be so. Does Diamond Trust Bank exist? Yes. Is it in Kenya? Yes. Does it have branches all over the country? Oh, it most certainly does. Are there people whom the bank has benefited with mortgages? They most certainly have. Now it's your turn. And for you to make this a reality, just give me a moment and listen to what I have to say.
Okie doke.
If you were to email mortgages@dtbafrica.com, you'd be communicating directly with Diamond Trust Bank. If you went to a branch of Diamond Trust Bank and said, look, there's this thing called a house I've been dreaming to have, and I don't know quite how to go about it, you'd begin a conversation that would be beneficial to you. Now, the things that you'll be told are the following. One, Diamond Trust Bank has partnered with Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, and because of that partnership, they are able to offer you a single-digit interest rate on your mortgage. For 10 years, 9%, 25 years, 9.75. That's one. And as you would say, and check. There are no hidden charges. The charges that you are told and that you hear me mentioning are it. There's no but and if. That is it. If you prepay or you pay ahead of the schedule, there are no penalties. If you are employed, you have a payslip. You will be able to access up to 105%.
Check.
Kabisa, that takes care of the little charges that you have when you're taking a loan. There are all these charges, preparation loan, blah, 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 all these things. If, on the other hand, you're in business or you're in the diaspora, you've been to look, up to 80% can be made available to you. To confirm all this, let's go back to the factory settings. Diamond Trust Bank, they are in Kenya, and you can visit a branch to authenticate this information. In addition, you can email them, mortgages@dtbafrica.com.
Good stuff. And that is what you need to get onto today as you think about your future and your mortgage. All right. There's a piece of paper, whether you hold it in your hand or whether it is, on your computer. It's called a payslip. Now, on this payslip, there are different things. If you're in formal employment, there are different things that will be listed. They will start with your name and your employee number, and then they will give the date of this and the month and the year in which they are paying you. So far, so good? Check. They will also tell you this is the amount of money that you earn, a gross amount. Check. And then, after that, will come an onslaught of deductions, known as pay as you earn. NSSF, it used to be NHIF, now it is SHA, there's housing, there's... Year on year, that long list increases. And those are the conversations that we'll be having this hour. And we're asking, are workers actually being misled? To help us out with that conversation, Bruno Otiato is the head of communications at the Central Organization for Trade Unions, otherwise known as COTU. And we're looking at that conversation this hour. Bruno, good morning.
Good morning, Do.
How are you doing?
Good. Happy World Radio Day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys keep on doing a great job in eliciting conversations that are needed.
Asante, a good day to commemorate. And I was just trying to think like Happy World Radio Day is like that happy birthday. When you say happy birthday to somebody, you don't say happy birthday back, you know? So to the practitioners, say Happy World Radio Day and we say thank you.
Happy Radio Day to you too.
Yeah, well,
She's a
so I
listener.
mean, it is. So happy World Radio Day to you as well. So thank you very much for being here. And let's welcome you properly to the hot seat, because this is a hot topic, my friend, and I hope you have your seatbelts on because it's going to be an interesting ride. CT is going to welcome you with today's proverb. Then you tell us what you think about it, and then we can move on from there. Fair enough? Okay.
Our proverbs, the whole of this week, come from the Republic of the Gambia. And today we are looking at how proverbs accentuate the process of eating. And it is a simple and straightforward proverb.
You're such a teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
If you are eating with the devil, you must use a long spoon.
I think it means that there are individuals that are deceitful, and when dealing with them, you need to be cautious. You need some sort of hypervigilance. And also on the discussion that we are having, it mirrors, the kind of people that sometimes will give you information. You need to really take it and look at it from a very detailed point of view to see whether they're giving you the right information or not. So it borrows from probably the idiom that it's better to err in side of caution. Yeah.
Okay.
What did you say you do at COTU again?
Communicate.
Head of communication. I was here 2 years ago
it was a long time.
with CT, and then we were just introducing NSSF deductions and introducing the 6%, and we were supporting it. Today, 2 years after that introduction, NSSF has saved more than 150 billion shillings following that introduction.
You see, it's fantastic that you've said that. Because just 3 days ago, the same CT that you speak of said he used to contribute. And I think this is where we are going to now segue nicely into this conversation. Because CT used to be a teacher of English. He still is. And
Thank you so much for not calling me an English teacher.
no, you're not English, you're Kenyan.
Yes.
Teacher of English. And he contributed faithfully. Yes? Check.
Very faithfully for 19 years.
19 years, month on month. He checked his payslip and he would see NSSF deductions.
Then I went to Cambridge.
Then he left after that. Right? Now CT tells us that...
So 17 years at Cambridge, they were still deducting NSSF.
So it was now 36 years. You can imagine 36 years of deductions. Bruno, see, that's something that nest egg that you've kept aside, right? CT tells us, much to our chagrin and flabbergastment, that ata shilingi moja that they have not given him, and everybody and their uncle knows that CT has retired from
Those two institutions.
Those two institutions. That one red cent, okay, the cents in Kenya are not red. 1 silver cent, he has not received. Make that make sense for us. Or is he supposed to go and present himself and say, you people have been taking money from me every month for the last 36 years. I have retired. Now here I am. Please now start giving me back my money.
I don't know if CT has tried going to get some monies from NSSF all the 17 years you're contributing.
I was given a form to fill. They looked at my details, said, yeah, we've got these details, but the others we don't have. So here are these forms, get them filled and then bring them back. I have never gone back.
You were tired once.
No.
You will not be tired again.
At least I was given information. Why I didn't go back is because I became philosophical. All these years I've been contributing. All these years. You're telling me when I come to your head office, when you're now telling me all these things.
That you don't have information.
Yes, and I'm assuming that all this information you are the one who's supposed to have. And I said, no, I will go back and I will talk to some of my previous employers and say, these people say they need this information and these are the forms. When I do that, I'll be doing this next month. I'll take 2 days to do this because 1 day may not cut it. And thereafter, when I come back, I'll give information as to how NSSF have spoken to me.
Okay.
I think, and I'll advise, today, previously it used to take long because there were issues around the disbursement information was scattered. Today, the turnover for claims is 1 day. You go claim your money, within a day you'll have it.
When you say claim your money, you go and say, I, City Muga,
Yes.
have been working for 36 years.
The form that he's
and
talking
here is
about.
and they will tell you now, okay, we'll sort you out. Then tomorrow, Friday.
Yes, turnover 1 day, because City is alive. If it's the children claiming, then we'll need to do some verification, whether it's in the village with chiefs. But because he's here, it will take 1 day. He'll have his money. But the problem now is City, for those years, is not told us he was only saving 200 shillings every month.
Oh, no.
So when you look at the total accumulation of savings that you will get from NSSF in the terms of lump sum payment, it won't be even 200,000.
Chief, even if it
yes.
was...
Don't worry, tomorrow is
No.
Valentine's.
Please, don't get worried on my behalf. It's a principle of it.
No, we must, because you see, we speak for workers in entirety.
Yes. See, if you do 200 shillings a month, every year it comes to?
24,000.
No?
24? 200.
200 is 2,400.
2,400, yes.
Yes.
2,400, sorry.
So, yes. So if you do 10 years...
Times 10 years, 24,000.
Now, if you keep doing 24, you barely get 200. This guy was being generous. Maybe he's throwing in interest.
Yeah, because NSSF invests, so you'll get some interest out of it.
The principle is really the issue here, not the amount. The amount is insulting. But...
We hear you. So, I mean, that is more or less the conversation that we have around pay slips. That every time we hear about taxes, for example, or deductions, it doesn't really matter where you work, in whatever sector that you work. There is an element of taxation that applies. And there's something that will be removed either from your earnings at the workplace or from your earnings, whether it's in business or whatever it is that you do. Something will be deducted. And we've come into the last couple of years where the items that are up for deduction have increased significantly. You started off by talking about whether there is some misinformation as concerns what is actually being deducted from you. Give us an overview. Have things increased in terms of deductibles over the last year, or are we just making noise for nothing?
I think if you were to look at the items on your payslip, the only thing that has been added on your payslip is the housing levy. That wasn't there to begin with. But let me go back a bit, because this conversation around the payslip, I think we've started talking about it much more pronouncedly because the political class has picked on it as a political issue. And there is a lot of sloganeering around it currently as we are speaking, because it's become a political agenda. While you look at it, you see it's sort of a three-legged stool. City would understand the three-legged African stool. So when you look at a pay slip individually, without looking at issues around cost of living and issues around salary, you miss the whole point, because the workers we represent, for instance, let me talk about SHA, which people might see it as new. So when you look at SHA, and I have the rates here, because previously, most Kenyan workers, the average salary of a Kenyan is 50,000.
Yes.
Those that have pay slips. Those that earn above 100,000 in this country, we've been told there are not more than 300,000 Kenyans. Those are the ones that are being pinched a bit more, pinching someone who used to comfort. So it's sort of bringing up this kind of conversation. But when you look at for instance, SHA, previously someone who used to earn around 6,000, which is way below the minimum wage, used to contribute 300 shillings to NHIF. In SHA, they're contributing 165 shillings. Someone earning 35,000, they were contributing 950 shillings to NHIF. In SHA, they're contributing 926 shillings. Then it's true there are other items that were added in the payslip in terms of pay when this issue was hot.
Yes.
And when we sought conversation with the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is the leadership of COTU, we sought some reliefs on the pay, because previously pay used to be calculated up to last month. It used to be calculated inclusive of SHA and housing levy. Now it is less. So if you actually look at your payslip last month and this month, you will find out that there is more gain to it because they are not incorporating, they are not taxing SHA, they are not taxing housing levy, meaning the maximum taxation point has actually come down on your payslip.
When you say they're not taxing, what does that mean?
It's tax allowable now. So housing levy and SHA are not being subjected to tax. So if you are earning, for instance, 50,000, while last month they were taxing from 50,000 on payee, now they will be taxing 47,000 because they will remove first SHA deductions and then they'll remove housing levy deductions, then they tax what remains. So that a bit has.
But they're still removing something from you.
Yes, they are removing something from you, definitely. But you see, when I say it's a three-legged stool, so you have to look at also, I was reading today, newspaper Business Daily, the central bank complaining about banks not adhering to their regulations and their communication on the central bank rates and the cash reserves ratio. Because when you look at the cost of living, because it doesn't matter how much you are being given in your payslip at the end of, even if deductions were not to be made on your payslip, but the cost of living is very high because either the lending rate is high and the interest rate is high. What you remain with still doesn't cover enough ground for you. So when you have the central bank coming in and saying we've already reduced these rates, banks must adhere. And banks take up to 8 months, 6 months to adhere to such kind of communication. Because from August last year, we are aware this has been happening. The rates have been coming down, but banks have not been bringing the rates down. So this still affects the cost of living because it makes, you need this money for production costs. So workers who are supposed to buy goods at affordable rates are unable to get because the banks are still giving high interest either on loans or even on personal loans and business loans. And you will know most businesses, small businesses that are run in this country are still run by workers. So when you have the central bank saying this money needs to come down and banks are not adhering to that, that means that the workers, while they still borrow, or those that are having loans, they are still paying a much more markup.
So now it becomes a little bit worse, doesn't it? Because here you are with 50,000 shillings. Your payslip is still being raided. I'm going to use the word raided deliberately because that's what we're talking about. So we're talking about SHA having been removed. You earn 50,000 shillings, SHA knocks off some 3,000. Then we go ahead and do all the deductibles and somebody ends up with, paltry amounts, okay? But then what compounds the issue here that we're talking about, like you said, cost of living, number one, still very high. Boom. Number two, you talk about the fact that even if you were to get further access to credit, number one, the rates are through the roof. Number three, this 3,000 that was removed from your 50,000 bob for the system for, unfortunately, it's not a seamless process. We know about the cries of SHA. We know about all of that. Just today, we had a news bite of the director of medical services telling us what? That they're going to have to really ramp up the efforts to get more people to contribute because they don't have enough to actually make sure that the system runs properly. Red flag. So it makes it worse because all these deductions are happening, but then the things for which they should be deducted to apply to, then, unfortunately, are not working seamlessly. And so it puts people into further distress. And this is the problem.
I think when you look at SHA and the deductions and the availability of services, it's a very easy, while at the same time it's a very complex issue because healthcare is devolved. So
in word.
In word and indeed, because today all hospitals, majority of the hospitals at least, are run by county governments. Medical supplies are done by KEMSA. Ministry of Health still has controls. Now, the problem we have is everything that is not working in the health ministry or in the health sector has been branded SHA. So you find someone goes for primary health care in a county hospitals. The county probably has not facilitated that hospital. The KEMSA has not supplied medicine in that hospital. because this person misses those facilities that he needs, whether it's medicine, he gets out saying, hey, SHA is not working. While we know that primary health care is funded from the tax, from Treasury. It's Treasury that funds primary health care. Prior to this administration coming in, I know you are aware that the former president...
Just hold on. You just gave me a headache. Umepiga round about car sitter. Let's go back. You said primary health care is funded by Treasury.
It's funded by Treasury, yes.
Not by SHA?
No.
Okay. Treasury through the Ministry of Health or not?
Treasury directly to counties.
Directly to counties.
Yes.
So it's funded by counties?
Yes, it's money funded by counties to the hospitals.
Now you see roundabout yako to judicial line. Let's go back, because now you see, when Treasury gives money, first let's say Treasury gives money for everything, correct?
No.
Okay. Who else gives money in this country?
There are these deductions we are talking about, and because healthcare, for instance, let me simplify it. Healthcare is funded by three arms. So there is money from Treasury that comes in. Then there is money that comes in many times from insurance covers. There is WIBA. There is all these insurance covers that still fund healthcare. Then there is increasingly also out-of-pocket expenses.
So, my dear brother, you are missing my point. Government programs, all of them are funded by the Treasury. Are we together?
Yes.
Can we agree? Because even aid that comes to the country goes to the Treasury first. It must be declared. Okay. When the Treasury gives money to the counties, okay, it is the counties that are in charge of dispersing that money. Correct?
Yes.
Good. Now we are on the same path. So you cannot say that the healthcare clinic, or what did you call it?
Level 1 or 2.
Level 1 or 2 is funded by the Treasury. No. It's either under the Ministry of Health or under the county governments.
That's what it's
I
under
think
the council.
what also Mark is not getting is you've seen the Council of Governors coming out saying our hospitals are not working, not because of us, because of Treasury.
Because Treasury has not sent
Yes.
the funds that for that to happen.
That is besides the point. You see, what you are trying to do is introduce a third player who's not relevant to the medical situation. The medical situation in this country is either funds from national government are not available to give to the counties, or SHA is not delivering.
Okay, so let's get something clear here.
Yes.
That when you go to a level 1, 2, that primary health care is taken care of by government.
Yes.
All right? So when you go and you're just doing your consultation, that is where that money comes from. When you're going to hospital now on most referral cases, remember the three tiers that we talk about? When you're going to hospital now on referral cases that you must be hospitalized, etc., that is funded by SHA, which comes directly from your contributions. This, what is the percentage that we're talking about now?
2.75.
2.75% that is taken from your payslip, or that which you contribute as premiums. That is what funds SHA. It is your contributions that fund SHA. And usually you're going from level 3, 4 and above, especially when it goes towards hospitalizations, now that care, before you now get to your critical care after that. But the first line of treatment is actually funded by government.
Yes.
All right.
And you know that's where most care is needed.
Exactly. This first line.
And the unavailability, and this is probably what Mark was not getting when I was saying, the unavailability of service at that point, many times, many Kenyans are beginning to say it is SHA. You hear me, Mark?
Yes, I hear you.
So while it is the county governments to avail funding to those facilities, there is the Facilities Act, for Medical Facilities Act that was passed in 2023. That is very clear. There's a framework on how this money is going to be used. But many times it's misdirected. So while that is not happening, then it becomes a SHA issue, and then Kenyan workers will start asking questions around it. And now the misdirection and misleading we are getting for the most part is even the unavailability of medicine. Many people are starting to, the political class is bringing the conversation around and making it to look like it is a whole issue to do with SHA. Well, at the same time, SHA is very clear on what it's supposed to fund. And for sure, like the Director General of Patrick Amoth said yesterday, we need more people contributing to this pool so that we can render more services to Kenyans, so that hospitals can get more disbursements on the same. Yeah.
So the Director General of Medical Services said more people should contribute.
Yes, I think the voluntary payment contribution is down because many people who are contributing to SHA as of now are payslip earners.
I don't understand something. It's something we don't understand on a daily basis here. How it is that the government comes up with a scheme that is clearly good on paper, clearly beneficial. When you look at it, this thing, good. Now, there's a little detail of money that is required to make this thing work. We go and spend oodles and oodles of money on the system that is supposed to make this thing work. We understand it's a platform on which you can launch this whole thing. But do you see the effort that has been made to get people to understand why they should be paying into this so that they can benefit? Beyond you explaining it, somebody from the Ministry of Health coming here to explain it in 1 hour. Do you see a concerted effort for something this serious so that people are actually given the opportunity to ask questions and by so doing get to a point where they actually understand why this contribution is necessary?
It's a yes or no. There has been concerted effort, but unfortunately the no is the politicization on the issue, because some people might have issues with SHA. They first brand it bad. After branding it bad, any concerted effort directed towards ensuring people actually register for SHA. Today you have medical facilities, like people talk about Linda Mama, for instance. Under SHA, it's been enhanced. But you see, when people say, oh, Linda Mama has been removed, and this is a political class, and then they are saying, hospitals, private hospitals come on the table and say the tariffs are way too low for us. And as SHA, we say, okay, let's then have this conversation. So then the private hospitals and, facilities are told not to onboard. So it becomes a war from all centers, from the political class, that makes it not...
It is not just a political class.
And it's just the thing, I think there's a lot more people outside of the political class who complain about this. And I think it stems from lack of communication. And I think that's one of the things that we've already been able to establish. For example, just what we're speaking about this morning, that how many people right now really do understand that your first level health care is actually taken care of by government? How many people understand that when you're going to be hospitalized or you need surgery, then that is taken care of by the contributions that you make, your 2.75 or your premiums that you put against every month? Very, very few people understand that. So when you get the information that this thing is not working, you know what? You know what that is? It's a cry because we don't understand. You've not communicated to us exactly how it is supposed to work. And I think that's where it comes from. This branding of it bad is I don't understand it. So if I don't understand it, it doesn't work, it's bad. You see, we got to take a break on that, and then we can come back and look at, okay, so then how do we make it make sense? And then where is COTU in all of this? We thought you were our friend. You're supposed to, at least be telling us or fighting for us on the front lines. So we'll continue with that. Bruno Tiato is the head of communications at the Central Organization for Trade Unions, COTU, and we're having a conversation this morning about, okay, pay slips. The list gets longer, and we are being bombarded with, deductible after deductible. Are we being informed? Are Kenyans being informed on the way to go about this? Let's take a break. And just before we do, remind us, just a conversation that we had earlier, Mark, about the 1 million people in this country who need skills and are getting them.
This is the easiest thing to say. If you are under 35, CT will testify that he wishes he could apply as well. Because there's a loan, my friend, that is under 10%. Under 10% business loan. As someone who's taken a business loan myself when I was under 35 and paid 12% interest on it, I can tell you.
You only pay 12, huh?
My friend. No, sorry, 21.
Thank you.
Oh, Jesus. I was flipping the 21%. Yes, I remember. And it was painful to pay. KCB to Jiajiri is not only offering you loans for your business, but training for free. The only thing you pay is transport. And in the case of the lady, she walked, so it was free. Then they give certification, life skills, business skills, take you for, give you mentors, so many things. Yani, if you're sitting at home under 35, need something to do. Don't make many applications. Go to apply to KCB to Jiajiri, get to the nearest TVETs, and turn your life around.
There you go. It is now 24 minutes to 10 o'clock. Conversations continue right after this.
Dental tips brought to you by Sensodyne. The 2-minute rule. Brush smarter, not faster. Dentists recommend brushing for 2 minutes twice a day. Pair that with Sensodyne Toothpaste Advanced Daily Care.
Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Love is in the air. This Valentine's Day, make your feelings known in a truly special way. The Standard newspaper is offering a unique opportunity to express your love and appreciation to your family and loved ones. For only 950 Kenya shillings, you can publish a heartfelt Valentine's message and a photo that will be cherished for years to come. It's simple. Just SMS the word love to 22151 and we'll guide you through the process of booking your message. Don't miss a chance to make this Valentine's Day unforgettable. Reach out to those you cherish and let them know how much they mean to you. Remember, text love to 22151 now. This Valentine's, let your love story be told in the Standard. Bring out all the fun, all the chaos, and all the sports, local and international, with the greatest of all true sports friends. The GOATs, Carol Radul, Kieni Givinji, and the great Roy Karuhise. Make their return on the playground every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Spice FM 94.4.
Hey, why are you lying? I want to be president.
Every Saturday from 2 p.m. on Spice FM 94.4 on the playground.
Radula tried to run away from God. They owned her.
It's all the fun and games na yote katikati.
A conversation with Bruno Tiato, who is the head of communications at the Central Organization for Trade Unions. And we're looking at those pay slips and we're asking the question, are we being told the full story about what exactly is being taken or what is not being taken? And then the question then comes in, we assume that COTU is going to help us and negotiate things there at the front and say, come on, can we reduce things here? Or do we have a false notion of what you would be able to do for Kenyans and say, come on, guys, here, let's shave off something and make sure that the person who's taking 50,000 shillings can take a little bit more home, or make sure that the person who's taking 100,000 shillings can take a little bit more home, or to ensure that the things that you're deducting for, we can actually see it. This morning, we saw that who are those people who are taking more money from fuel? And we're talking about double taxation.
No, the money wasn't being taken from fuel. What I read about in the Business Daily was how the insurance.
Okay.
This insurance that you pay for, yes, that's where
they're going to take some and it's going to go towards some road
we had
maintenance.
this discussion of double
taxation
and so forth, and I asked the question, so what? Yes.
So who helps us?
I think we are, because like I said earlier, if you look at your payslip, December and January, you'll realize that SHA and housing levy are now tax allowable and they are not being taxed. But secondly, this conversation also is about workers investing in their social security in future. Because you know in this country that many people live one paycheck away from poverty. And this is because for a long time we haven't had medical insurance as a country working. NHIF for the most time was for the only workers in the formal sector. SHA is facing the challenges it's facing because it's for both formal and informal workers. The coverage of NHIF in the country then was only 15%, while SHA is aiming at universal health coverage. So you are having a situation where workers are first investing in their social protection through NSSF and through SHA, which as COTU, we sit on those various boards and we are there to guarantee the governance of the fund. Our Secretary General, Francis Atwoli, is a board member at SHA. We have 2 board members at NSSF. And for now, I don't know if you've seen, I think, as I was telling CT, while we were here 2 years ago saying that this NSSF thing is good, I think then Kenyans were not seeing the benefit of it. Today, if the NSSF, this expressway here was built by the Chinese at a cost of about 65 billion. Today, the NSSF is able to finance such a project facility and collect the money because it's a long-term investment. They will still collect the money and ensure that by the time CT is retiring like he did, he gets his money. And in fact, as COTU, we are demanding double-digit profit from all investments from NSSF. Unfortunately, last, I think 3 days ago, I saw here Nelson Harvey. Nelson Harvey has been given such a big job by the President of the Republic of Kenya to be the chairman of RBA. And you would expect, because I think one of the challenges that people are facing, especially other pension schemes, and I've seen a number of complaints, you would expect that in his role as the RBA chair, he'll be much more pronounced on ensuring that most of these other pension schemes are actually prudent. There is compliance in terms of investment and in terms of disbursement, but I've never heard him say a word around issues of pension. The other day, you remember, Star did a long story on a cover page on how people are not getting their pension from Treasury. And this is the job of RBA, to ensure that once you retire, you actually get this money. So as COTU, we are there to say that while we don't know what is happening with the other pension schemes, we will guarantee you that with NSSF, you will get the pension and because the lump sum and the pension when you retire. Because where we sit, the Secretary General of COTU, Francis Atwoli, is a board member in the ILO. ILO recommends that you get at least 40 to 60% of your income prior to retirement, after retirement. So that means if you are getting 50,000 as your salary, when you retire, you need to get about 20,000 shillings. And then you had a situation where about, every person retiring without a pension scheme only gets a lump sum of 100 and something thousand from NSSF. And now with the Tier 1 and Tier 2, there is the lump sum, and then there is the monthly remittances from the same body.
Just a quick question. Please remind me your job title.
Head of Communication.
Where?
COTU.
What is COTU?
You know COTU, Mark.
No, please.
COTU is the Central Organization of Trade Unions in Kenya.
Trade unions?
Yes.
Workers?
Yes.
Right, correct? Throughout your presentation, I'm wondering whether sitting with a spokesman for NSSF, not that anything you're saying is wrong, or a spokesman for other things. I am waiting to hear, and that's why I've been quiet all this time. I am waiting to hear the union issues. Okay? Not that anything you've said is wrong. Not that it is wrong to seek to guarantee them. I every day hear teachers, for example, when they are going to hospitals and they say the teacher's insurance thing has been blocked, for example. When I hear that doctors are saying that not enough of them are hired, there's the issue of interns, correct? Now, these issues is what I imagine you'd be hard-pressed to explain. Because even as you promised that NSSF would pay, it is not within your purview to promise.
I think-
I'm not saying you can't.
No, let me simplify it.
Let me finish my statement, my brother. Relax. Yeah, I want you to speak as a trade unionist, even if you think the government side is doing the right thing. Speak from a trade unionist perspective and address those issues.
So let me. I think you did right to ask the question, what is COTU? Maybe because there is misunderstanding from what we are supposed to do. So COTU is an umbrella body of trade unions in Kenya. We currently have 47 affiliates. Rightly so, the teachers' unions, there are about 4 affiliates in the teachers' sector. There is the KMPDU in the medical sector. In the electricity, we have COTU. In the agricultural sector, we have a union led by Atoli Plantation and a number of unions also, cutting across 47. All these unions are autonomous.
True.
They speak to issues facing their members at that level, at their union level. Then you have COTU as an umbrella body speaking to policy issues. So as COTU, why this question is probably right to address as you put it. When we say we speak to policy issues and the questions you are asking, why we are talking about, why, for instance, I'm talking about SHA, NSSF.
No.
It's because of this role we have to speak to policy issues. That's why we sit on those boards to represent workers at that level. By the time COTU pronounces itself on an issue affecting teachers, it is at the request of the union that is representing teachers. For instance, when there is a strike, when there was a strike in the aviation sector, and you saw the Kenya Aviation Workers Union striking, they did their strike up to the last end. And then when they thought it is wise to bring in COTU, they came to us. And they said, now we've done what we are able to do at our shop level. We've engaged the parent ministry. Now we need COTU to speak to it from a very high level policy and political leadership. That's when we were able, Brother Atuli was able to engage with CS Chirchir, CS, I think, Murkomen then, and the president to avert that issue. And until today, that issue was sorted. There was an agreement signed at that level. So COTU only comes in at that level of intervention, Mark. At the policy and the political level.
True, the policy and political level, okay? Then who makes this decision? Policy and politics is the one that makes the decisions, right? Correct? So you only come in to speak about policy and politics. Good. So let's go to policy and politics. Take one issue. The teachers' issue in SHA, where they're being turned away from hospitals. Correct?
Yes.
Does that speak to a policy issue?
It does at the union level, the respective union level. Because it is being handled by NAT.
Hold on. My
NAT
brother,
is still handling the
my
matter.
Brother, I've done spin much longer than you. I'm trying to help you. So listen. You said you deal with...
Don't succumb to his dictatorial tendencies.
You know, Mark was used to being to this side.
No. You said it addresses policy issues.
Yes.
Then you said it addresses policy issues only at the union level. Yeah. Okay. So it is only at the union level. So that issue of teachers,
So let
only
me
the teachers think...
No, let me talk to the issue that is bothering you of the teachers.
No, it's not bothering me.
It is bothering teachers
I'll give you an
also.
example.
Okay.
Yes,
Go ahead.
it's bothering teachers also, where teachers have been unable to CUPET. You've seen the Assistant Secretary General of CUPET has come out to issue a statement. The chairman of CUPET, Omboko Milemba, has come out to issue a statement on the matter. And they are addressing the matter with the Teacher Service Commission and the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health. At that, as we speak, the matter is being sorted already. To the point that the matter is unable to move, then COTU is involved at that point.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we're saying essentially is that if something is stuck in the mud, COTU is the the caterpillar vehicle that comes and pulls everybody out.
Yes.
But who is COTU representing in this case? Representing the individuals who work within these unions on an umbrella level, isn't it? Okay. So now when we're looking at, again, I'm going to take us back to the payslip. When we're looking at, there may not be an increase in the items, but there have been increases in the amounts on those items. That we cannot run away from. That has happened. Whether we want to look at NSSF, whether we want to look at what used to be NHIF, now is SHIF, SHA, whatever that has been, there has been an increase on the amount that you pay. Now, to justify that, you have to then see the requisite implementation of that policy. And the question that we're asking is that it becomes so much more painful when there has been an increase on the amount that you pay, regardless of the fact that the items remain the same, if you cannot see the requisite implementation. So, whether there was not enough information that was provided about how SHA and SHIF are supposed to work in tandem, and it makes it more painful for people, problem. Whether it was not clear whether counties then are supposed to make sure that hospitals at the county level are funded for your level 1 and 2, whether it came from Treasury or whether it came from heaven, problem. And it is an issue of implementation. So the question remains, who is speaking for Kenyans? Because when government comes and says, this is what we are going to do, when the ministry comes in all their wisdom and says, we have to increase here, where the Director for Medical Services comes out and says, well, we just don't have enough and we don't know what's going to happen when you present yourself to hospital and we don't have enough people contributing, we don't have enough in the kitty. It was said. So then you start to wonder whether it was me or 10 people for whom this amount has increased, who's fighting for me to ensure that I can still go to hospital and get the care that I need. You see where I'm going?
Yeah, I do. And it's a right question. And I believe that any new system has bottlenecks when you start implementing it. And we have, and as COTU, we've raised these matters. We did raise this matter with NSSF when the new implementation came on this 2013 Act and said, people are kind of being deducted more money. We need a high turnover in terms of their payments when they come here. With SHA, there has been a lot of issues with the implementation of the new system. And we've raised the matter with the leadership of SHA. But of more importance on this question is the fact that we are there in the various boards to ensure that actually, even while we raise the matter and these things are being followed up, that there is prudence in the use of resources. Because today, if you speak to an average Kenyan worker, they don't have an issue with SHA and with NSSF as long as they are guaranteed of the services.
But Bruno,
yes.
That's the theory. The number of complaints we come across on a daily basis speaks of a system that is far from being perfect. We are not saying that it doesn't work from time to time. That's not what we're saying. Something as simple as a channel through which people who go to hospital can actually bring about their issues at the hospital itself, that hasn't been adequately addressed. So that then the thing becomes a national complaint. These systems exist in the health facilities. There is the issue of the backlog, the pending bills that NHIF had, which has been on a discussion. Some monies have been paid to hospitals. But the conversation around it is there are still pending bills. We hear of hospitals that are unable to provide services because they say, look, we are owed money, we are not going to incur any more debts. These issues exist. Now, if they are not addressed, because it can't be a national conversation when people are seeking help at the local level, what is being done to ensure that many of these issues, before they percolate to the national level, are addressed at the basic local level? Because that's where the complaints come from. I am certain certain things are being done, but we don't know. This is the bane of the existence of government. They do not speak and tell us the things they are doing. We are supposed to know. How are we supposed to know if we are not told? If you come and tell us that, only 3 million people are contributing, okay, So how many more should you contribute? 12 million?
How many do you need
Yes,
for it
okay.
to make sense?
12 more million, or is it 15 million? Okay, so what are you doing to make sure that these people pay? You've told us, we've understood. You're the duty bearer. What are we supposed to do? Now, so long as these gaps exist, then all we're doing is trading information. It's not working here, it's not working here. There's a gap here. Somewhere along the line in the middle, there's supposed to be a solution, but one doesn't see it. Now, that's where COTU comes in. Because you are representing all these people who are expressing these gaps. Now, if the gaps are many and they are unresolved, then the word failure comes into it. And then the question is asked, but is SHA really failing? I would answer by asking, where has it actually fully worked so that we can say it is actually working? Or is it just a work in progress? If there are no responses to the issues raised, then people will fill in the blanks, and they don't fill the blanks well.
Even as that could be a wrap up in terms of what you're saying. But I think of it like in a factory, when you look at the rejects of a shirt, for example, you wouldn't say that the whole thing is bad, but if it's missing a button when it's going through that line, it's a reject.
It is a reject.
It's a reject. They will not say, well, let me fix this button so that I can add it to the pile. No. The entire shirt will be rejected. So it's the same principle, that if an element of it is not working, for people in their minds, the whole thing is not working. How can we now say, with your shrinking payslip and with the end goal having not been met, how will Kenyans actually be protected?
Well, for one, we are trying to ensure that the payslip doesn't shrink any further, as I said earlier. But on what CT has said and what you are saying, that's so true. And we, as COTU, we've engaged the leadership of the country to have this conversation. I know it's not a conversation that actually has been had at a national level, but it's a conversation that we are trying to push on the health sector reforms at a national level. Because as I had said earlier, you'll realize that even if SHA started working in the way that it's supposed to work in everyone's mind, then you'll realize that there's issues with KEMSA. There are issues with county hospitals. There are issues with all these other facilities that are supposed to work around it to ensure that it works seamlessly.
Yeah.
So the only way you are going to deal with this issue conclusively is to bring everyone on board and have a national conversation being led by the political leadership of this country. And that's what we're trying to do as COTU.
Okay. Well, such conversations must come to an end, and I know that Mark is itching, but you know how they say,
I am not
you
itching
leave
at all.
the party when it's still hot. So the head of communications at the Central Organization of Trade Unions, Bruno Tiato, has been our guest this hour. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
And we will definitely continue with those conversations. As I ask you, what is your plan when sickness strikes? Interestingly, we've been talking about this morning. Let's be real. If you or a loved one have gotten ill, what are some of the things that you're going to do? Are you going to take a loan and you have to be in hospital? Are you going to call family and friends? Are you going to say, okay, let's delay treatment until you have some money? Well, you'll probably hope that you were covered with some kind of health insurance. The smart choice is with Jubilee Health Insurance. Putting a little bit aside through their Lipa Pole Pole program, they have affordable health covers for individuals, for families, for seniors, for businesses, and even for children. Affordable plans from as low as 200 shillings per month. And you can be sure that with the flexible payments, you don't have to worry about when an emergency strikes. Access to over 800 hospitals around the country. Access to telemedicine where people can, advise you over the phone, and access to free drug delivery. So all you need to do is send a text to 40643 with the word health, or call 0709 949 000. Visit www.jubileeinsurance.com and get all the answers that you need in terms of how you can get health insurance as the next thing that you need to do. Thank you for being part of Kenya's biggest conversation this morning. Of course, we do continue again tomorrow morning at 6, God willing. And once again, happy World Radio Day. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock.